Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da. Welcome to Kocosports Impact Wrestling Review. I am the huge one, Dave Coco from Kocosports.com or Kocosports.net. It takes you to the same place. It's where the world comes to kick ass. Your home for combat sports, and where above all, it's okay to be a passionate fan. We're a little bit late, and I needed to go old school tonight. Oh, so old school that the YouTube audience isn't going to know this. I feel like we're back on the radio. Oh, do we have Dave and Lola yelling at us saying you can't say that on the radio? We're going old school. We're a half hour late because A, I'm sick and I needed help, and B, we got the editor of Kocosports, Jerry O'Neill. You haven't been on this show or a show of mine probably since I've been on the radio.
Yeah, you know what? I think the last time that actually no, that's not right, because we did the radio show together, and then after the end of the radio show, we brought back Wrestle AM when it was me, you, and Ralph Mosca, and that's going back a little bit too. We brought it back then, and we did some shows, but it wasn't on YouTube. It was only on Kocosports.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and my whole thing is, off topic real quick, and then we'll get into impacts. My whole thing is, remember when we were in radio, we're like, dude, radio sucks. We have to answer to so many people. We have to kiss ass. It's kind of bullshit. Man, I wish we could just do something online and not have to kiss ass. Oh boy, YouTube and Google, did you take that joy away from us?
Yeah, YouTube and Google decided that, you gotta answer to someone.
You guys haven't kissed ass in like 5-10 years. Can you please kiss our ass? Like, all right, pucker up. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. We watched Impact Wrestling. Hopefully I can do a long show. My voice is not.
Well, I gotta stop you there. When you say we watched Impact Wrestling, I watched about 50% of Impact Wrestling and listened to the rest. But
Jerry, I'm gonna stab you right in the eye.
I'll do my best.
You're supposed to be carrying the workload here. Anyway, so we always start off the show. You don't know this because we didn't do this in Radio Lands because we didn't have comments in Radio Lands. We just had old ladies who yelled and be like, you should kick those wrestling guys off the air. In the comments, please put win, loss, or tie what you thought of tonight's Impact Wrestling. Now, let's say you've sold out. You're not exactly the biggest wrestling fan anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure if I could watch an Irish guy box for 12 years, that's what Kocosports would be about. Working out, Irish guys boxing, and one Irish MMA fighter. It would be Irish guys who work out and fight.com if you had your way.
My perfect day on Kocosports is when we can have our top wrestling headline is Sheamus or Fergal Devitt. Our top MMA headline is Conor McGregor, and our top boxing headline is I can't remember the girl's name now, but Katie Taylor, the Irish boxing Olympic champion. I've had some days like that where every top story was actually an Irish story, but mostly this is just me personally using the site to troll Dave.
Exactly. So you have your Irish pride. All right. So what did you think? You haven't watched Impact in a while. Did you think win, loss, or tie? Did they win you over?
I'm going to give it a win, and the reason that I'm going to give it a win is because they do. And this is strange because it's TNA I'm speaking about, and I'm not used to saying this about TNA, but they did everything better than Monday Night Raw. Every single aspect of their show was better than Raw. And I don't like the segments. I don't like the non-wrestling segments on TNA. But you know what? They were kept to a minimum. Most of what we saw was in-ring action, and the in-ring action was good. I thought that the main event was awesome. Not quite as good as the Young Bucks at the FWE event, this past weekend. But still, it was an awesome ladder match main event. I thought that the women's match, the knockouts match, again, I'm not going to say that it was an amazing match, but it was, head and shoulders above anything that WWE's put on in the past few weeks. I couldn't find too many faults with the show at all, really.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, because our staff is about 10 to 30 dudes, if you count part-timers, you know what I mean? So we got about 10 to 30 dudes at part-time on Kocosports, whatever. That's our staff, our team. And out of all of them, I'm the only guy who sat through watching Impact through the good and bad. And I'm trying to convert people because I think ever since they went to New York City, it's been a good product. And I'm a little disappointed at the Bound for Glory card because I live in Tokyo and I have tickets for it. But I don't know, man. They've been delivering over and over and over. So we're going to do a pay-per-view profits later this week. And also I'm going to tell you about advertising in Tokyo, probably in a separate video. Because dude, Sherry, remember on radio you could say something that you didn't agree with someone, and they would just continue listening to the show or call you? Today's generation, like, I don't agree with you. I'm going to unsubscribe and never listen to you again.
Yeah, I think this is the weird thing. They run away. They just run away now, and I like it's that thing where before even online a few years ago, if you posted something that was a little bit controversial, that you didn't agree with it, people would share it and say, "I don't agree with what this guy says." Go and leave comments on his blog, or they would do something. Now they're just like, "Oh, I don't want to touch this. I think I'll just run away."
I remember, because you weren't in studio, I was in studio, and you would say controversial stuff, and people had the balls to come up to the radio station. Like, I miss those days. I miss those days. Like, you get off the air, and there's some hillbilly like, "What you say about TNA?" And he's got a beer bottle. He's like, "Is this really happening?
Yeah,
Is this real life?" I miss those days. I miss the local drunks who could just easily find you.
Yeah, but I gotta just remind you of something though. Here's the benefit you had of being in studio. First of all, I don't know why, but I had women call into the old show when we were on the radio show, telling me how much they liked my voice and wanted to come to the studio and find me. But of course, I wasn't there.
That's when I put on a Lucky Charms outfit and be like, "Hey, baby, I'm Irish."
then we had pizza delivered to the studio when I wasn't there.
Yeah, that happened often.
Yeah.
When you're on YouTube, YouTube is great. They make cakes, they do fan art, everyththing's great. But I do miss the pizza.
Yeah.
All right, let's focus on it.
You get a picture of a cake. You can get a picture of a cake. A picture of a cake is not a cake.
Would you calm down, the grumpy ass grumpy? Let's focus on Impact. I thought it was a huge win. I really did. I thought from top to bottom, I was actually kind of grumpy ass. I'm a cranky motherfucker, as always. And I was like, I got Bound for Glory tickets, no fucking championship match. What the fuck is this shit? Can't even fuck. I'll save all that for later. But I thought it was a huge win. I went in grumpy and left happy. And you know what? I know this sounds crazy, but isn't that what entertainment on every level is about? Like, I hate when you watch pro wrestling, you're like, "Oh, what's your favorite type of entertainment?" Pro wrestling. "Oh, I'm having a bad day. Let me turn on fucking my favorite entertainment. I fucking hate my life even more. Thanks, click." Like, this is one of the few times in my life where wrestling actually did what it was supposed to do. I was in a shitty, sick mood, and I was like, "Dude, I feel so shitty. I feel so sick. I'll watch Impact." And, like, it entertained me. It made me feel better. Yeah, so there you go. Ralph Morales in the comments says tonight's show was definitely a win. So so far everyone's saying win. All right, let's break this down. We'll save memory lane. Like, me and Jerry we're old and we used to do stuff together. To Pen around Pen, I hope I said that right. I probably didn't. Thank you for watching on Google+. All right, let's break this down.
But back in my day, we would have been reviewing Thunder.
Sadly, you're probably right. All right. The It Factor. Bobby Roode opens up Impact. They cut a promo, and basically it comes down to, first off, Bobby Roode, you've always been great, but there's something about you, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to carry every promo and be awesome. Like, the It Factor has been great. Like, he's been a highlight of TNA, even when TNA was not so great. He's always been a highlight. But, dude, he is, like, bringing his game up. He's just doing such a great job cutting promos. So I tip my hat to you. Bobby Roode, you are the complete package. You are probably my favorite active TNA guy right now.
Well, I have to say this about Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's promos, they're so simple and they're so effective. And I wish that again, and I'm going to refer because I watch a lot more WWE than I do TNA, although I've started getting into TNA again.
You're gonna get some elite for that.
In the past several weeks, I've started watching a lot more TNA. But what I have to say is that they need to take notice of what he is doing, because what he's doing is simple and it's effective and it's pro wrestling. And there's nothing. I mean, no one is stealing anyone's girlfriend. No one is complaining because there's people dressed as a giant bunny rabbit. Nobody is waving flags at each other. It's just straightforward, simple pro wrestling. It's about the title, and he is making it specifically about the title, and that's what I love about it. It's just so simple and straightforward, and it works. And it's that, the one thing is, it's so straightforward, and nobody else seems to be able to get how simple wrestling can be and still be entertaining. Everybody wants to complicate it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple and still entertaining. But here's the one problem with this whole scenario that I have. And maybe you, Dave, you can tell me, this is just me, but does anyone else not see from a mile away where they're going with the whole MVP, Kenny King, Bobby Lashley group? Does anyone not see what's going to happen? And this is, I think everybody understands. They're like, oh, well, eventually Lashley is going to turn face, and everyone understands that that's going to happen. But what I want to know is, why do we have to see it coming? Because we can see it coming, and that's fine. But why does it have to be like that? Now, is that just because we've been watching wrestling for so long that we see the exact same stories repeating again, and there's only so many stories to be told? Or is that because, is that just because there are there younger people out there who don't see it coming? I don't really know. Or is it because we've been watching so long and can see that it's coming, or is it just poor writing?
Well, it's simple, old school. I think we are old. Like I remember I watched SmackDown with my nephews, and I'm so old. When you say, "Oh, you watched it with your nephews," you think I'm watching it with little kids. No, I'm an old fuck. My nephews are in college, so I was sitting there watching. It was a SmackDown, and they were just watching it like, this is what my uncle likes. He's a fucking fat, weird white guy. I don't fucking get it, but all right. So it was me, because I live in Japan. So, so it was me and my two Japanese nephews, and we're watching it, and I'm just being that old man dick that's like, oh, I'm going to tell you everything that happens. And I didn't read spoilers. I told them everything that was going to happen down to the camera work. I'm like, they're going to fade out and Kane is going to be in the background. And they're like, how do you know? Have you seen this? I'm like, yes, I have not seen this episode, but sadly I've seen this way too much. Like, yeah, it's just that we're old and we've seen it a lot. And on top of that, one thing that you don't speak about is, everyone's like, especially WWE fanboys, they're like, oh, who gives a fuck about Impact? Who gives a shit? WWE doesn't care. WWE does care. Do you know why? Because if you watch both products, which sadly is kind of rare, usually you're too extremist to like, I love Impact, fuck Vince McMahon, Jeff Hardy's my favorite wrestler, da-da-da-da! Or it's like, I fucking love Raw, fuck Impact. It's like two extremes. But if you watch both of them, well, one thing is, Impact has a disadvantage, because, well, a lot of disadvantage, but the main disadvantage they have is they're not live. They have to pre-record this stuff way in advance. Well, a lot of times, WWE, they're live, they know what the spoilers are, so they'll do the same exact storylines a week or 2 weeks before, so when TNA's doing the storyline, you're like, isn't this old? But it's really not old. So all those people are like, oh, WWE doesn't give a fuck about Impact. Yeah, then why do they keep fucking 2 weeks prior to their shit airing steal their exact storylines over and over and over again? And is it just Vince McMahon can't stop being a dick, or is it kind of like,
I think that's a really good point, because live is a big thing. Live was a big thing back when the Monday Night Wars were happening. It was, how do we go head to head with Raw when Bischoff was taking Nitro on? He said, "Oh, we have to go live. They're taped. We got to be live." And I think that's a huge thing, because for myself personally, I dislike Monday Night Raw. I haven't liked Monday Night Raw in a long time. but every single week. And I complain about other people who watch. I'll say, if you don't like the product, don't watch it. Stop supporting them. But I expect other people to stop supporting them because I'm like, well, I run the site. I got to watch it. But,
Yeah, but here's the funny part. Do you know there's so many people that have that attitude that we've actually stole this idea? It's from the Nostalgia Critic. We kind of stole his catchphrase. Like, when I'm with someone chatting, like, I can't fucking stand wrestling. I'm like, we watch it so you don't have to. It's like, so we have actually an audience, a chunk of our audience that do not watch the shows except for our reviews. And for you guys, we tip our hat to you. You're the real MVP.
The one thing that I'll say is I watch Raw because it's live, and there's always that possibility that because it's live, something unexpected may happen. Like, Monday, The Rock came out, no one knew that was going to happen. I think he tweeted about it a few seconds before he walked out on stage, but nobody really knew. So I watch it because it's live, and there's other shows, the pay-per-views, I'll watch because they're live. The taped shows, and anything that's not live, my attitude to them is I'll watch them if I hear that they're going to be good. If somebody says, "Oh, it's going to be good," "Oh, this was good," someone was there and watched it live, and there was a 5-star match. Someone was there and watched it live, and this happened. If I know that there's something good to watch, I will watch it. But as far as tape shows, and I think that's the thing with Impact, wherever they go, wherever they end up, I don't know where that's going to be, but I think that they have to be live because it's the only way. I mean, right now, I love what they're doing. I love that they've changed the look of the show a little bit. It's a little bit grainier, a little bit darker looking. It's just a different presentation, and the wrestling.
It reminds me of old school AWA in some way.
It does. It looks good and it looks different. So they're presenting an actual wrestling product, and it has a different look and feel from WWE. So it's starting to not look so much like they're copying WWE or trying to be WWE. But again, not being live is a huge thing, and I think no matter where they go, they're going to have to be live for Impact in order to compete in any way, shape, or form. But if they do stick with what they've got right now and they go live, I can actually, I'm tentative, but I could see them starting to become a little bit of a thorn in WWE's side at that point.
Yeah, and my whole thing is I try to avoid the spoilers like crazy, but they still leak out. And one thing that I get mad about Impact is that they go on Facebook and Twitter and they're like, who's going to win tonight? And it's their own Facebook page, and they always have dicks be like, here's the spoilers. And it's just like, dude, learn how to do social media better. Just learn how to do social media better. Try to, hide the fact, because I was excited to see Bound for Glory, but now I read a spoiler that leaked out, and I try to avoid them, but it's almost impossible. And now it, takes away from the pay-per-view that's going to happen this Sunday. All right, let's go to some live comments. Oh, by the way, let's just recap this. And I thought this was going to be a short show, Jerry. We're old school. Bobby Roode is threatened, saying you can get your shot against Bobby Roode if you take on the two of us and beat us. And I was just like, yeah. I don't know. It's just I'm a fan of Kenny King and MVP, and they're just I don't know, like Three Stooges book style. Andy, I would like to say thank you, Shut Up and Wrestle, for following us on Twitter. I also, Andy Paps on Facebook said Impact was a win. And we go to some live. I Am Mikey says TNA Impact. Oh, I Am Mikey, I love you, but you have the long comments, and I have to go here. Bam. Bam. All right, newest first. Boom. All right. TNA Impact was a win for sure. Pure, credible pro wrestling for mainstream viewers. Got a little of every gene of pro wrestling style living up to total non-stop action. I don't even give WWE a chance on the program anymore. I'll catch the YouTube highlights and thank God for review discussions. Mr. King says, I love the main event. It was a great win plus. Rain Lazy 92 says a win, not only because of the amazing Full Metal Mayhem match, but the show overall had a solid wrestling and entertaining. Zombie 40 says win. I love this about TNA, and I hope it helps them. This is, dude, you should see some of the Impact reviews that we did earlier in the year, especially after lockdown. Oh man, I'm just happy. I don't know. I'm not a TNA fanboy, but at the same time, I want the product to be good. And it just, I don't know. There's something cool about reading the comments. It says win, 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 win. Zombies 40, win. The tag team title match was insane. Just awesome. Probably my favorite match of the year. FWE, Combat Zone Wrestling, Dragon Gate, Evolve, and this is from I Am Mikey, has put on a great set of recent available shows. Highly suggest you all check it out. TNA needs to capitalize on their indie talents as they have not allowed TNA top contract talent to, except more booking needs. Now, in this time for TNA to book the talents from various major indie promotions, opening the door for an alternative talent to showcase and make an impact, similar to the way unexpected talent shown up each week during TNA's weekly pay-per-views. I agree with you 150%. Give yourself 200 points and a huge Barry Horowitz.
And I just want to say, so far everybody's talking and everybody's saying about the amazing main event, the Full Metal Mayhem match. And if you liked that main event, and I think everybody did, but if you liked that main event, I'm going to suggest go to Kocosports.net, go to our VOD section. We've got the FWE Refueled show, the entire show there. Check out the first night. The second night, I don't know if it's still available or not. I know the first night is available. The second night may still be. But if you enjoyed the main event on Impact tonight, you're going to absolutely love the main event from the FWE show this past weekend.
Clown Blurry says, I say a win, a very good wrestling show with an epic main event. I am Mikey. Mike Ashford says, TNA has not only reached out deals to Del Rio, but is now being reported that CM Punk got a huge deal. If that is true, yeah, I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, I don't know. I'll have tears of joy. I don't know. I don't even know what I'd do. Like, it sounds so good that I don't even know what I would do. Imagine CM Punk at TNA. I know there's been some reports on it. I'm sure David Cooey is cracking down the case right now. And would be official TNA of the new era after the Spike situation. CM Punk at TNA, it's just hard to believe something that awesome comes true. I'm just a cynic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, congratulations, you won the lottery. And I'm like, yeah, are you sure? Are you sure I won the lottery? But yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, as far as I know, nothing has been signed yet. He hasn't actually signed with them yet. There have been feelers put out, but then again, you know, there's been feelers put out for CM Punk from a lot of independent
everybody
promotions.
And anybody.
Yeah, television companies wanting him to host things. So there's a lot of feelers out there, but whether or not he decides that it's the time, I honestly don't think we're going to see him back in a wrestling ring for another few years.
So, I don't know. I just go like this. I'm such a cynical asshole. Like, that sounds absolutely awesome. Not going to happen. Like, 'cause, you know, people always like, LOL dirt sheets. I'm like, dude, this is how you do it. You ready? You go to your favorite website, Kocosports.net or some other wrestling website. You go there.
Other wrestling websites?
Yeah, surprisingly. There's other wrestling review shows? I can't believe it. I thought we were original and groundbreaking. You go to Kocosports.net. You see a story, and you're like, that is way too awesome to be true. That you just know is not true. Then you go to another story, and you're like, that is the most horrible thing I've ever seen. That's 100% true. You'd be surprised how accurate websites are when you start having that attitude. Matter of fact, that might be good for mainstream media, too. I'm just an asshole. I'm so negative. Like, I'm one of those guys when something good happens, I don't even know how to react. I'm just like, oh, pure goodness. And after Bound for Glory,
I was just going to say, let's try and bring it back on track here because we got a lot to cover, and we got the first match of the night. We haven't even got to the first match yet. All we've covered is a promo.
Let me finish this. Let me finish this comment and read Clown Blurry's comment, and then we'll be done. Okay. Live comments for now. We'll go back to live comments, I assure you. So please keep them coming. After Bound for Glory, TNA literally is on thin thread with even getting fair airing time on Spike. What is the game plan being a part of creative booking team to possibly set up a strong comeback, and what network you aim to pitch the TNA Impact program to? Right now, you pitch it to anything. I'm surprised they're not calling up Kocosports' YouTube channel. I mean, as far as pitching it, you need a television channel. Just ask Paul Heyman how that works out. You need a television channel. With that said, though, yeah, I heard the one out of Chicago. What is it, WGN? But I know they got a good deal in Japan, England, India, and Canada. So they just have to worry about that American audience. But yeah, as far as
I'm gonna have to just step in there. The Canada deal, so far as Canada goes, in most of Canada, TNA still airs on Spike TV because Spike TV is available all across Canada. So it's part of most basic cable packages have Spike TV. So you sign up, and the most basic package you can get will have Spike TV as part of it. So that they've got great coverage in Canada. But the problem is, of course, once Spike drops them in the States, that also means they're not going to be on television in Canada. Now, they do have one network, and we have a story up on this as well over on Kocosports, but they have one network in Canada who is interested in acquiring the exclusive Canadian rights to TNA, just because in Canada they do a lot better television ratings than they do in the United States. So there is interest from television networks in Canada. However, there's a big controversy right now because they're currently in Canada going to start unbundling the cable packages. There's a new law that's being brought in that says that, you know, if this gets passed, that you can pick each individual channel, so you can pick exactly what you want, and you don't have to pick the entertainment bundle or whatever bundle the cable network or satellite network is trying to sell you. If that's the case, most of the networks have claimed they will just stop broadcasting to Canada completely and start offering their services online only. Now, to me, this would make sense because if Canada and the CRTC are going to start blocking, or they're going to start saying that people can choose their own individual channels, which I think is actually a good idea. But you know, if they're going to do that and the networks are going to get pissy about it and they're going to pull their content completely and just start offering it a la carte or over the top as an online service, well, at that point, it would almost behoove TNA to look into moving online for Canada and for a lot of other territories, because I mean, you know, hey, Vince is doing it with the WWE Network. I know TNA doesn't have a network to offer, but there's no reason why they couldn't be even cheaper than WWE and just offer their few televised programs that they have. So Impact, Explosion, the British Boot Camp show that's coming up, and maybe some other things, and just offer it as a really, really cheap online deal for people to sign up for in different territories where they don't have a television deal. So I mean, obviously in the UK they may not need to offer it, but you know, because they got a deal there and they got a deal in India. But if they wanted to offer it, say they're pulled off television completely in the United States, I don't see why TNA can't turn around and say, hey, you know what? We'll give you all of our content for $3.99 a month.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the future, the Netflix, the WWE networks of the world. What is this cable thing? I don't understand, you old bastard. TNA is the Steve Corino for wrestling companies. They're over everywhere except the United States. Poor Steve Corino. Clown Blurry. Is Madison Rayne a heel now? I honestly believe when it comes to the knockouts, they, said Gail Kim is injured. I think that's more kayfabe-ish than anything. I think with Havoc coming there, they're just resetting everything. It's like, here's our superstar. Oh, she's so powerful. Let's restart it. So I just think they hit the reset button on the women's division. Match 1, speaking of the women's division, Angelina Love versus Taryn Terrell versus Madison Rayne. It just shows you can be beautiful women and you can wrestle. I thought this was a great opening women's match. I thought all three women were amazing in the ring and amazing looking. I don't know. I'm just proud that women's wrestling can shine on a national/international stage. Your winner is Madison Rayne. Havoc enters the Impact Zone afterwards. The beautiful people of Madison Rayne abandon the ring, and the Knockouts champion attacks Taryn Terrell. I think right now, the only title up for Bound for Glory, they really fucked up Bound for Glory, and I got tickets. The only title that's on it is going to be Havoc's so far. I could be wrong about that. Oh, no, I think the X Division title too. But the point is, Bobby Lashley's not going to be there, and they advertised him, and that makes me sad. What did you think of the women's match?
The women's match, I thought it was good, but then again, my standards for the women's matches have dropped so severely because you got to remember, when I was growing up, women's wrestling was Medusa versus Bull Nakano, and So when I think back to what I remember as women's wrestling being, and I look at what women's wrestling is now, I just haven't been able to treat it seriously in many years. I think for what women's wrestling is today, I think they did a good job. They look good. I think that they are more hard hitting. They put on a match that's definitely more entertaining than what you see in WWE, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. Is it was better than anything on WWE.
Andy Paps has 2 comments from Facebook. CM Punk at TNA, first night back, pipe bomb on the McMahons. Oh my, I would love that. And the best women's division in America. That's not fair. Go watch Shimmer. I know Japanese women usually have better. Okay, 99. I'm sorry. Let's be fair. America has Gail Kim. 98% of the time, Japanese women wrestling is better, but to say TNA has the best women's division in America, a little unfair. Check out Shimmer. Shimmer's
okay, I just when you mentioned Gail Kim, I'm going to step into the TARDIS or the DeLorean and go back in time here a little bit. I don't know.
How long have I loved Gail Kim? Because people think this is just a small little recent crush.
Back when we had the Wrestle Night from Florida, the radio show, back on Tan Talk, we had Gail Kim as a guest. You remember that?
I remember. It was the greatest day of my life.
I want you to admit to everyone on YouTube and tell them how uncomfortable you made Gail Kim.
I thought she was cool. Everyone in the studio said she was uncomfortable. I don't think so. I think Gail Kim was cool.
Okay. He thinks Gail Kim was cool, but what you did was you told Gail Kim that you found her photo shoot in the Raw magazine to be so hot that you had to jerk off to it right there in the store.
Yeah, well, I mean, back in my day, back in my day, that was a compliment. That was before Tumblr came along.
Yeah, you don't buy those magazines anymore. You just look them up online. You can't
say stuff like that on YouTube. It's so weird. Back in the 90s, and I think it was the 90s, I don't know, I'm old. Back then, we could say anything on the radio, and people were like, I can't believe it. Yeah, you said that on the radio. Now on YouTube, we're like, all right, listen, we can't make fun of the bunny rabbit because we're going to lose the bunny demographic, and they're going to unsubscribe. What the fuck are we doing with our lives?
Well, anyway, so to get to the end of that match, the women's match, Madison Rayne won the match, and after the match, Havoc comes out. She attacks everyone else in the ring. I think the beautiful people jump to the outside. So Havoc gets in there. She beats up Taryn Terrell, and I think Madison Rayne takes off running. So I'm not sure if she's a face or she's a heel or she's a tweener or she's trying to be like a coward heel. I don't know if it applies the exact same way to women, because when I see a woman running away from violence, the dual standard in me goes, oh, it's okay, she's a woman and she's running away from something violent. But if a guy did the same thing, I'd be like, well, he's obviously a cowardly heel.
We just lost every Tumblr listener ever. Congratulations. How does it feel? You just destroyed Tumblr.
And I'm not even trying tonight.
All right, match number 2: James Storm and Sonata with Manic versus Low-Key and Tiger Uno. James Storm and Sonata win. I don't know how you feel about this because you haven't watched it. I absolutely hate this storyline, but love every athlete, so I feel like I'm a party voter. Like, I voted for a president, and he's a complete failure, but I have to be loyal to him. That's how I feel here. Like, I think the Sonata, James Storm's Manic storyline, I think it's kind of garbage, to be honest with you. But I love Manic, I love Sonata, and love James Storm, so I just look the other way. All right, look over there. Actually, it's probably the one match that I am looking forward to at Bound for Glory. So, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a quick tag team match, but it was one of the few matches that they were actually promoting their biggest pay-per-view of the year. I love you, TNA, and I love that you improved. But the fact that I have Bound for Glory tickets and you're acting like it's a Japanese house show, it burns my ass. It burns my ass.
I definitely, I have a bone to pick with Mike Tenay on this because, first of all, I loved the match. I loved the match with Tigre Uno and Sonata. and Low Key, James Storm. I thought it was an amazing match, and again, I'm the same as you. I love all of the athletes involved, and I love the fact that the Great Muta is going to be part of this. When they get to Bound for Glory. So far as the storyline, I'm going to admit I haven't followed it as closely as you. The one thing that bothered me about the storyline was the weird, I don't know whether it was Wyatt inspired or exactly what it was, but how they started the storyline off with, okay, first of all, I'm going to kidnap people, I'm going to tie them up, I'm going to keep them in a shed in the woods. And I'm like, this is what I don't get. I want a little bit of realism in professional wrestling. And there's a couple of things that bug me. One is, if you've got someone who's going to commit, what's obviously a crime, then you have to involve some kind of law enforcement in the angle. And it's been done before in pro wrestling. They've had people commit crimes and they've had people arrested. And you've seen, WWE have done it numerous times. WCW did it. Remember they had Bill Goldberg arrested from the arena for assault and all this different stuff. But now we've got people who just randomly will kidnap someone and can get away with it and nothing happens. There's no law enforcement involved at any point. And the other thing that bothers me about TNA is, and it bothers me about WWE too, is backstage angles that are seemingly from some hidden pervert cameraman who wanders around the locker room with a shaky camera and points it, through doorways and around corners. And there's no reason for that. It doesn't benefit anything, and it makes it seem less real. There's no reason that those same angles couldn't be achieved by standing someone with a microphone in front of the camera and saying, "I'm here to interview whoever," and then have that exact same angle take place where someone walks in and they have their exchange or say what they're going to say, and at least then it explains why we're seeing it, why it's on screen. So those are two things I dislike. So far as the athletes involved in this, I love all of them. The match on Impact, I thought was great again. I love good pro wrestling, and this was a good pro wrestling match. The one thing that I had an issue with was Mike Tenay, because when they showed in the corner, they're talking about Bound for Glory coming up this Sunday, and they show that there's going to be some inter-promotional matches between some of the Japanese stars and the stars from TNA, but he only read the names of the stars from TNA. He didn't read the names of who they were facing, and I don't know. Now, this is Mike Tenay, so I'm assuming he can pronounce those names, but...
Well, TNA has a real... I want to say this because if we start talking negative about how it is Japan, TNA has a very negative... They have a negative... They're just negative. People view TNA negatively. And it's not because they're a number 2 company. It's not because they're WWE super fans. It's just TNA lies. They lie to the Japanese companies and they lie to the Japanese fans all the time. And in America, that's not fair. In a Western culture, you're just used to companies lying to you. Yeah, and TNA, when you lie, fans remember that shit and don't go back. Everyone knows this Bound for Glory, your WrestleMania. Only people know it as Wrestle One's smaller show. Wrestle One just had a big show, and they're like, all right, we're going to have a smaller show next week, come check it out. That's the vibe around here. Fuck it, let me just break it down real quick. September 8th-ish, give or take, before September 11th, TNA sent out a press release saying ticket sales did good, right? In Tokyo, you couldn't buy Bound for Glory tickets until September 11th. So who was buying the tickets? That press release might be a little bit full of shit. As of this morning, at Tokyo time, good tickets still available. Second, I bought my ticket September 13th. I went to 4 ticket guys saying TNA Bound for Glory, TNA Bound for Glory. No one knew what the fuck I was talking about. Like, there's no TNA Bound for Glory. And they deal with wrestling, they deal with everything. So then I was like, all right, Wrestle One on this date. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's a show, but it's a smaller show. That's what the ticket guy told me in Japanese. And I was like, no, that's Bound for Glory. He's like, I don't give a fuck what it is. We don't have the tickets for it. I was like, well, how do you get tickets for it? You go to Wrestle One. So you go to Wrestle One, and they're promoting their title tournament. they're going absolutely crazy. They're like, oh, you sure you don't want to see our title tournament? You sure you don't want to see our title tournament? Like, no, I want to see Bound for Glory. You had to scroll down to the date. You had to click on the date. Then it was like, Wrestle 1. It's small print. TNA Bound for Glory. Japan is very famous for last-second walk-ups, and the arena is very famous for selling out no matter what. It's a really small arena and very famous. But one thing is, they lied to New Japan. They treated Okada like... Just imagine the most racist company in the world treating a foreigner. That's how they treated Okada. And then on top of that, they have AJ Styles, and AJ Styles has admitted New Japan hates them. And then on top of that, you advertise. The only advertisements there are pictures of Bobby Lashley. Let me tell you, people are not going to like to be lied to for the 4th time in Tokyo. You sold this as this is your WrestleMania. You advertised Bobby Lashley everywhere. It has not been mentioned anywhere, and even on Wrestle 1, it's the smaller show. It's like, come to our tournament show, and we have a show on Sunday. Like, it's that second fiddle. So I'm worried, but it is in a very big city. It's in a very small, famous building. They might sell out last second, but TNA, just stop lying, bro. Well, stop lying.
I got a question for you, Dave.
Dude, all I know is if Bobby Lashley's not on that fucking event, that will be twice you've lied to the Japanese public. And you know what? Wrestle 1 is not proud of you because you can't get the tickets anywhere. I could get tickets at all the ticket places in Tokyo for the Wrestle 1 title tournament. I couldn't get tickets to Bound for Glory. I had to actually go to your site, and then on this site you have to read Japanese. And the second thing is, it's not listed as Bound for Glory, and it's not listed as a major event. And then you go on there, and in small text, they're like, television taping for America. So you have failed.
I'm going to say this isn't exactly without precedent, though, because if you look back to some of the WCW shows that they ran with New Japan, they ran some shows over there that were presented in Japan under different names than they were presented in the United States. So they actually did have, I can't remember, I think it was a Starrcade that was supposed to be they ran a show in Japan as WCW New Japan Starrcade, but presented it under a different name. It wasn't considered a Starrcade in the United States. So it's not exactly without precedent for a wrestling company to go overseas and have a show who's hosted in another company's city, and they're gonna promote the show for them, and they're gonna sell the show under the name of the other company, and then when it's taped and edited and loaded up with all the graphics and the different commentary, it's going to be broadcast as a pay-per-view under the TNA banner in the United States. So it's not without precedent for companies to do that in the past. But my question for you is, in Japan, which is the bigger name? I know Wrestle 1 is like maybe a 4th or 5th tier company in Japan, but is it still considered to be in Japan, Wrestle 1 considered to be a bigger company than TNA? And if so, that may be the reason why they're promoting it as a Wrestle 1 show to the local Japanese audience to get them in, but then they're going to tape it and they're going to load it up with the graphics and the US commentary and then present it on US pay-per-view as a TNA branded show.
This is a really tough question, so I'm just going to say what most people view. And granted, this ain't 100%, but I live in Tokyo. I go to wrestle bars, I go to wrestling shows, I talk to people.
Is that south of Tampa?
Wrestle 1 is... did I say Tampa? I meant Tokyo. Wrestle 1 is a 5th tier company that has Great Muta. The biggest name on this show is Great Muta. That's why people are coming. They're not coming to see Wrestle 1. No offense to Wrestle 1 fans. They're not coming to see TNA. TNA has the reputation. Let's check it down. AJ Styles says, yeah, they're shit. AJ Styles has the biggest championship in all of pro wrestling. All right, so your biggest champion foreigner is basically saying no. New Japan is the monopoly, the WWE, the biggest company. They hate them because they were lied to over and over and over by TNA. The third thing is you got to factor in is the false advertising. So I say Wrestle 1 is probably bigger, but the one thing that Impact has going for it is they're on G+, which is... G+ is basically, in America terms, Madison Square Garden.
Isn't that the same? Isn't that the same channel that airs Pro Wrestling
MSG.
Noah?
Yeah, it's the same as Pro Wrestling Noah.
Okay.
It's super famous because they have the Tokyo Giants games. It's the cable company that has the Tokyo Giants, and the Tokyo Giants are like the New York Yankees. So I describe it as it's MSG. It's a huge channel, but it's not ESPN/J Sports. So they have that going for them. The problem is that's like 3 or 4 months behind. So no one knows about Bound for fucking Glory. So when it does finally go on the air, Bound for Glory is going to be over with. It's like, check out Bound for Glory! Happened 3 months ago.
Well, if that's the case, then I can kind of understand. You know, if Wrestle One is a larger company in Japan or considered a larger brand than TNA is, and it hasn't been televised yet, then I can kind of understand why TNA is not promoting it in Japan as a TNA show and just allowing Wrestle One to promote it as a Wrestle One show, because I guess they're sort of going, well, nobody knows who we are in Japan, so let's promote it as a Wrestle One show. Let the people come in. We'll rebrand it when we air it in the United States.
I agree with everything you said. The part that fucking burns my bridges is you're advertising it as your WrestleMania, and you're advertising Bobby Lashley, and you're not treating it as your WrestleMania, and there's going to be no Bobby Lashley. I think that, at the end of the day, is what makes me angry.
But wouldn't you say if you showed up at a show that they had advertised Bobby Lashley to be in the main event, and then they said, hey, there's no Bobby Lashley here, wouldn't you celebrate?
Me personally, I don't hate Bobby Lashley. I think he's really good at hiding his weaknesses. But Bobby Lashley has 3 things going for him, and one of the things is going to be offensive. 1, he's a well-known name. 2, he's done multiple combat sports, and Japan loves that shit.
That is true.
And 3, I'm sorry this is going to offend some people, he's big and black. And if you're big and black and have a good personality... No, if you're big and black and you have a good personality, you can become a celebrity. Just ask Bob Sapp. Now, granted, if you're not big and black and famous, you're going to have a hard time. But if you're big, black, and famous, they're like, we love you long time. Okay, we just got fucking... We just defended 76 fucking races at once. Okay. Congratulations! I brought racism back.
I just looked it up, and now that you've said it, I can see that Bobby Lashley is black. Normally, I don't see color, but now that you've said it, I can. It's obvious. I don't know how I missed it before.
And we're going to the next match.
Before we go to the next match, I have one more thing. My favorite thing about Bobby Lashley, even though Bobby Lashley wasn't involved in this match at all, who, by the way, the winners of the match were James Storm and Sonata, in case anybody is paying attention to that. But my favorite thing about Bobby Lashley was the WrestleMania match, the hair versus hair billionaire match, when they sent Donald Trump out to do radio interviews to promote it. They asked Donald Trump, and who do you think is going to win, at WrestleMania? And Donald Trump said, I believe my large black gentleman, Leslie, is going to win. And that since then, I've never been able to take Lashley seriously. And in this house, he's just known as Leslie.
Poor guy. I like Bobby Lashley. I like Bobby Lashley a lot because he does all the combat sports athletes, which, in Japan, you just respect and love that stuff. And we also run Kocosports, so, he's a Kocosports guy. But the second thing is that he's not a very good pro wrestler, but he's smart enough where someone is coaching him enough to hide his weaknesses. I respect him because he's really good at hiding his weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, I won't mention names, Dave Bautista, or Dave Bautista, they're big, but they can't hide their weaknesses. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, Dave Bautista. All right, then the no disqualification match. You got Samuel Shaw versus Bram. I saw the very end of this match, but I missed a lot of it. So I'm going to hot tag you. Samuel Shaw, a Florida guy. Bram. TNA loves Bram more than anything in the world, and I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't see it. So go ahead. Just tell us what you thought of the match. And I'm going to get live questions.
I'm going to.
Please leave your live comments.
I'm going to give this match a win, and what I have to say about it is, this was a spot match. Okay, it was a pretty average match in my opinion. There was nothing, they worked through it, but they had some really fantastic spots. Obviously coming up towards the end of the match, Samuel Shaw tossed a pile of chairs into the ring. He got up on the top rope. Bram attempted a superplex, but then Samuel Shaw came off with, I guess, what looked like a sunset flip into a powerbomb, or maybe a rolling powerbomb, and drove Bram down into the group of chairs in the ring. The winner of the match was Bram. I'll be honest. I don't. Bram is okay. He's there, but I think he needs a lot of development. Samuel Shaw can work, but I have no idea what they're doing with his gimmick. I'm glad they finally let him at least, and I know this, no homo, but I'm glad they let him take his shirt off, because I think it's been ridiculous to watch him wrestle in street clothes the entire time. If they would just give the guy a singlet or give him some wrestling gear, because it looks for the world like they are just bringing him off the street each week. I'm a big fan of wrestlers looking like wrestlers, and that doesn't mean you got to look like a bodybuilder. That doesn't mean that you got to be John Cena, or you got to be Bobby Lashley, or you got to be Dave Bautista, but it does mean that come on, at least buy some wrestling gear. If you don't have a gimmick that specifically states and mandates that you have to dress in a certain way, like say for example, Bray Wyatt, if you don't have a gimmick that demands that of you, on a certain level, for the most part, you should look like a professional wrestler. And the reason that I say that is because I'm a big fan of being able to suspend your disbelief and pretend that wrestling is real, and not being embarrassed of pro wrestling when you watch it with other people. And I want it to, even though it's sports entertainment, I want it to seem like it's an actual sport, and just little things like that. You don't see football players going out there and playing in jeans and a t-shirt. You don't see I mean, it's just I just think anything that makes pro wrestling look more like a sport. So yeah, get the per guy some wrestling gear.
I have an announcement. Grandma O'Neill is going to be pissed. RJ Pareto, thank you for watching on Google Plus, on Twitter at K1LLAK1N9 Angel. Yeah, that's not the easiest to figure at little handle. He said, missed most of TNA, but the tag match was crazy. I was happy I saw it. That was 5-star. Didn't expect them to go that far. All right, we'll definitely get to that one. Andy Paps on Facebook says, I have a bad feeling about Bound for Glory. You and me both, brother. You and me both.
That's it. The NSA is on their way to Andy Paps' house right now because they're going to assume that was some kind of threat.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, I'll be there first, but it's $60 fucking in the States. Dude, literally, I bought, what did I buy? I bought like 6 tickets, because I gave some out for like friends and family and stuff. I think I bought like 6 or 8 tickets. Don't quote me on that. But I bought like 6 or 8 tickets, and I'm pretty sure it cost me less than $60. Oh, that's one good thing about this event, though. Bound for Glory is in Tokyo, and Tokyo is very expensive. Like, you'll go to an indie show, and there'll be like 10 people there, but all 10 of those people had to pay $100 to watch that fight. Tokyo is very expensive. One thing TNA has going for it is, I guess they didn't realize you could charge people a lot in Tokyo. The ticket prices for Bound for Glory are crazy cheap. So that helps out TNA a lot. They're like, we lied to you, but look how cheap it is. All right.
Well, before you move on to more live comments, I just got to say, I'm going to put you on the spot here now in front of everyone. If you're at Bound for Glory this Sunday, bring a phone, get some Wi-Fi. We need live tweets. We need pictures. We need whatever you can get.
All right, I'll see what I can do. No promises. Jerry, the reason why this is a big deal is I don't own a cell phone, and I hate cell phones, and Jerry thinks, like, I'm some crazy person. Because I'm always in front of my computer, so when I walk away from my computer, I have to see the world. If I had a smartphone, I don't think I would know what the sun looks like. I don't know if I would know what my kids look like. I write, I yell at Jerry to update the site. You notice I never said I update the site. I write, I yell at Jerry to update the site, and, I podcast. So pretty much everything I do is in front of a computer. So if I had a cell phone, no, I wouldn't know what real life was.
You don't even need cell phone service. You just need a cell phone with Wi-Fi. Okay? All you need is a Twitter app and a camera on that thing, and you can cover it.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I cannot make any promises.
Maybe a tattooed gentleman could find one for you.
Leave my tattooed gentleman friends alone. Rain Lazy 92 asks, how would you stack this tag team series up with Beer Money versus Motor City? Rain Lazy 92, give yourself a Barry Horowitz plus 10 points for you for asking such a tough question. TNA, I've had its ups and downs, and I've been watching from day one. Literally, I've been watching from day one. I bought the first pay-per-view. We used to do Wrestle Night from Florida. It was right after we had pay-per-view parties. I've been a TNA, I guess, watcher and supporter. I can't say fan, because there's times where I'm like, this fucking sucks. But I've been a TNA supporter. That's fair. Since day one. And TNA, one thing they've always seemed to be awesome at is tag teams. From Triple X to Beer Money, Team Canada, Motor City Machine Guns, even this tag team series with the Wolves. But as far as tag team series versus Beer Money versus Motor City, this is tough, but this is just my opinion. I still like Beer Money versus Motor City. Like, I like old school TNA, and a lot of people, it's so funny because Impact fans are like, you fucking hate TNA, you fucking suck. And I'm like, no, I actually like old school TNA. And then they're confused. They're like, what do you mean? I haven't been watching that long. And I'm like, no, I like TNA. I love the weekly pay-per-views. I love the tag team division. I love the X division. And then they look at you because it doesn't compute. And the best part is usually this debate ends with, I don't like the Hardys. I don't like Jeff Hardy. You're just a WWE fanboy. No, actually, I'm a TNA fanboy, and I miss the old TNA. And like, their head explodes. Like, does not compute, does not compute. But me personally, I like Beer Money versus Motor City better, but that's taking nothing away from tonight's match. Just TNA, when it's all said and done, I think will be remembered for their tag team matches and their tag team division. So, and not only that, but their tag team division, even though their X division was the #1 thing you bought their $9.99 pay-per-views for, I don't think they were $9.99, were they? They might have been. I think it was like $10 a week. But the when you bought their $10 pay-per-views a week, everyone talked about the X division. But when Brother came in, he ruined the X division. One thing that was never ruined was the tag team division. The tag team division was always solid throughout Impact Wrestling history. But I personally love Beer Money, and I personally love the Motor City Machine Guns. Dude, there's so many great tag teams. You know what? This is unfair. I'm giving it to Beer Money versus Motor City because I hate the Hardys. Is that fair? No. It's not fair. But, you asked me a tough question. I'm giving you my opinion.
I'm going to say...
tag team series, Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns.
I'll go Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns, but I don't hate the Hardys. I just hate Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the thing, Matt in ROH, and some of the stuff that he did in ROH, some of the stuff that he's done on the Indies, and some of the even just how he's gotten himself over online. I like Matt Hardy. I don't like Jeff, and it's not because it's I don't know.
It's not because of everything. It's just because of everything.
Yeah, there's really there's not a whole lot that I like from Jeff Hardy at all. I mean, he's good at one thing. He's a one-trick pony. He can take some great bumps off the top of ladders.
Now, some people absolutely love them. People like are Jeff Hardy fans. Like they're just absolutely crazy Jeff Hardy fans. And you know what? I don't want to take anything. I'm gonna have to admit something. I'm coming out of the closet. I do not hate Jeff Hardy as much as I used to. Like now, like I used to really despise the Hardys. Now it's kind of like I used to hate you, but I'm gonna pretend I still hate you. I'm not even pretend. Like it's become a friendly hate, like a friendly. Oh, my son just had a Jeff Hardy. Get it? He pooped his pants. But I don't hate him as much as I used to. So the hate really went down. Rise above the hate. Dun, 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 dun. I don't think I'll ever like that motherfucker. All right. I'll have to do who we hate now and rank them again. Did this tag team series help rebuild the tag team division? I believe so. I think they have to bring more tag teams, especially after the series is over, and maybe have a tag team title match, or at least one of the Wolves, the healthy Wolf, to be at Bound for Glory. You're red. Bound for fucking Glory! Sorry. Sorry, I got tickets. It hurts so bad. It hurts. But maybe it's going to be amazing. On paper, it does not look amazing. This will look better. Handicap elimination match. I'm not a big fan of handicap matches. I'm not a big fan of MVP and Kenny King looking like Three Stooges, but I love Bobby Roode. So I have mixed feelings. Bobby Roode does win. That means he goes against Bobby Lashley. I thought that match was going to happen tonight, but I guess not. So I'm just so angry about Bound for Glory. I got to, like, calm down. Bobby Roode, hopefully he'll be at Bound for Glory, but most is not advertised yet. So yeah, I enjoyed the match a lot. So it's it was like a bunch of stuff I hate, but I still enjoyed it. It's like I don't like green eggs and ham. Not a bad little handicap match. Thank you, Dr. Seuss. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't mind the handicap match at all. And again, I'm the same as you. I normally dislike handicap matches to a great degree because I think it's very, very hard to make a handicap match look in any way realistic once you have the one guy mounting some offense. So that's for that reason I'm not a fan of them. Also, I don't necessarily know that, for me, for a handicap match, there needs to be an underdog degree more than there was. I don't really see that sympathetic underdog feeling that you would have towards a Daniel Bryan. You don't have that same fuzzy feeling for Bobby Roode. Although all that being said, I think they did a good job with the match. I was entertained by it. Lashley coming in and beating up at the end. I'm not exactly 100% sure how the Lashley thing works. I mean, obviously, they're going at some point to turn Lashley face, but whether or if they're going to do that, I'm not sure, because it seems like they're pushing for Lashley to have that turn, but then running in at the end of the match and beating up Bobby Roode would seem to take him back in the opposite direction. So it seems like they're kind of not sure what they're doing with Lashley's character in this whole thing. But yeah, I mean the match itself, it was entertaining. It was what it was.
And that leads to my two favorite guys. When it comes to sports entertainment, I'm usually the guy that's like, yucky fucking entertainment. You guys fuck this shit up. But there's two guys that I absolutely love. Three guys I absolutely love to count WWE. I think just entertainment-wise. We're not talking matches. We're not talking 5 stars. We're talking entertainment-wise. Bo Dallas from WWE, and when it comes to TNA, Spud and EC3. I fucking love these guys. I absolutely love them. It leads to Spud saying they're best friends, kissing his butt, and they keep slapping the shit out of each other, and then fires them. I don't know. I usually hate entertainment. I guess I hate bad skits, but dude, these guys are absolutely great, and I honestly think EC3. He should be the star of the company. I believe that in my heart, and I know a lot of people don't think that. I think, I won't give spoilers, but whoever the champion is should be face, and EC3 should be the fucking heel. I don't like sports entertainment. I don't like when WWE guys just come over to TNA and get pushed to the moon. but I like everything about it. They repackaged EC3, and he's just fucking amazing. And the Spud, I was like, what the fuck is this little European fucker? You know, I'm like, I wouldn't even hire when Spud was on the boot camp show. I was like, I wouldn't even hire this fucker to update Kocosports, but he won me over. I absolutely love like it's one of those things where like it's like shh, good stuff's on television. This is gonna be good. I don't know if everyone shares this view with me, but I absolutely love EC3 and Spud. I hope they get back together, and EC3, I imagine his contract is way cheaper. Spud's probably working for free. I would make these guys.
Sorry, I gotta stop you. Did you just say I hope they get back together?
Yeah, like you best friends. They have to. They can't break this up. This is. I guess this is my grandma's gonna be mad now. But yeah, I find it to be amazing. Like, if they break up and feud and then go their separate ways, there's a part of me that's gonna die. Absolutely, and I know people don't share this view. Some people hate EC3. Some people think, oh, he's just a WWE reject. I think they repackaged him perfectly. I think Spud, you know, if it wasn't for Magnus, would probably be the most improved character or wrestler. And no, please, Spud better be in Tokyo. And out of that, but he has a great match against a comedy guy, Sumo Hama, so that should be really good. Do you enjoy EC3 and Spud as much as me? Jerry's like, no one can enjoy it as much as you.
First of all, I enjoy. I like both. I like both guys. I like both guys as wrestlers, and I like both guys as characters. And you know, I don't think that, you know, like you, I'm not hoping for a Billy and Chuck wedding out of this thing. But but what I do think is that I'm going to say this. First of all, you said you wouldn't hire Rockstar Spud to update Kocosports. Let me assure you, you have hired much less talented European wrestlers to update Kocosports. The other thing is, with EC3, first of all, I hope that it really sticks in WWE's craw, that they look at EC3 and go, wow, look at the wasted opportunity that we had. Look at the talent that this guy actually had, not just as a performer in the ring, because we could see what he could do in the ring, and we knew that he was, you know, that he was competent to perform as well as anybody in WWE right now. But in addition to that, he can perform, and he can perform in a role as a character, which is what WWE desperately wants from everyone, to be a character and to be an actor, and he can do that as well. So I hope that they look at that and realize what a mistake they made in letting him go and not cultivating that talent and using it.
And not only that, but when he was on NXT with Daniel Bryan, I found him to be the most enjoyable part of the NXT. For those that don't know, NXT used to be a fake reality TV show contest. But I thought when he was there, he was the most entertaining thing on that NXT season.
Yeah, and as well as that, even going back a little further than that, back to the FCW show that they were running, Steve Kieran's show down in Florida. Again, he was on that, and I thought that he was excellent on there as well. And it was one of those things. It was like you could tell, you're like, this guy's good. He just needs to find his niche. He just needs to find that groove. As for Rockstar Spud, I absolutely love Rockstar Spud. And that's the thing, Rockstar Spud, when they let him out of the gimmick that he's in, when they let him come out from under the shadow of being, you know, EC3's sidekick, and let him get in the ring and perform, the same way he did in the UK Indies. And if you haven't seen any of his matches from the Indies in the UK, go back and you know, Google and check him out, because he's capable of a lot more than he's currently being allowed to do in TNA. The only problem that I had with this segment is that the segment kind of felt like it ended prematurely. It was like I wanted that moment where Spud got back up, and after he was fired, you know, it said, okay, you fired me, so now I guess I got no reason to hold back, and then just have him on leash and then, you know, get some offense in on
but how are they supposed to get back together?
but the one other thing that I'm going to say is this: if you like Rockstar Spud, then there's someone else coming along who you're absolutely going to love. Hopefully, I know they haven't decided on the final lineup for this season of British Boot Camp, I don't know if it's been decided. They've got a whole lot of stuff set up, but there's a guy from Scotland, and hopefully maybe Dave can put the link in the bottom of the video when we're done. His name is Grado, and Grado is going to be, I believe he's a candidate to be on British Boot Camp.
Oh God, he's pure joy.
Yeah, Grado I believe actually had some great matches with Spud back in the UK as well. But if you like comedy wrestling, if you like if you like Colt Cabana's style of wrestling, then you're gonna love Grado. And if you know anything at all about, he can be a little bit localized because he does use a lot of local Scottish references. There's one of the big things is Grado has a tag team with Colt Cabana. They call it Iron Jew, and the reason it's called Iron Jew and the reason that's funny is because there's a soft drink made in Scotland called Iron Brew, which actually is now illegal in Canada because apparently it's got too many vitamins and it would kill Canadians. But there's a soft drink in Canada called Iron Brew, and so he's from Scotland. He's got Colt Cabana as a partner. They're Iron Jew, and they do some really funny stuff. And Grado was fantastic by himself. But if you enjoy some of the comedy stuff that Rockstar Spud brings, you're really, really going to enjoy Grado. So hopefully he's going to be on this season of British Boot Camp, and check it out. It'll be whenever it starts airing. You can check it out at Kocosports as well.
All right, before we go, we got a couple questions, then we're going to hit the main event. Get ready for the overused word of awesome. If you think we say awesome too much, you're about to have an awesome explosion, a must-watch match. All right, one person on Google Plus says, Dave, you want to meet up at Bound for Glory? I'm in Tokyo. Sure, I guess. What could go wrong? Meeting a random guy on Google Plus.
Is this gonna be like a Spud EC3 thing? Is that gonna be one of those kind of meetups?
I hope not. I hope it's just to have maybe eat at Denny's and talk shit wrestling. But yeah, sure, I guess. I might be with a couple of my Japanese friends, so I don't know how good your Japanese is. Mine is horrible, so we could talk English while they say, why don't these fuckers know Japanese? All right, and here we got another. This is all from Google Plus. Hey, YouTube, you're behind. Leave some comments, YouTube. Jerry, is Dave as crazy off air as he is on air? I don't think I'm that crazy on air.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Dave tones it down when he's on air. Dave tones the craziness down to be on air, and I'm not joking. I mean, the people are like, "Oh, okay, you're saying that to be funny on the show." No, I'm not joking. This man, if he was evaluated by a psychiatrist, they would lock him up.
Thanks. That's what real friends are for. But what he meant to say was, I'm a calm, smooth gentleman off the air, and I just do it crazy. I don't think I'm that crazy, but yet that's what everyone describes me as. All right. The funny thing is, I'm writing a book, and we're trying to get a Japanese translator. My wife doesn't want to translate my own work because it's stressful and it's a pain in the ass. So we're talking to one of our friends to translate the book, and she goes, "You know, your husband's an insane person." And she's like, "I know. I've been with him since he's been 17." He's like, "But he seems like such a nice guy. How can it be so?" No. I feel like I'm the AJ Lee of Kocosports. All right. People want to know how to work for Kocosports. Fine. All you have to do is be awesome and understand we don't make money. Welcome aboard. Oh, what? What? You're gone? Yeah, if you really want to, we can talk off air about joining Kocosports and help us. We need the help, but I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. Editor Jerry O'Neill, that motherfucker, his standards are so high, Coco can't even post on Kocosports.
Okay, here's the thing. If you are interested in working for Kocosports in some shape or form, whether that be submitting, your indie wrestling results, or you want to write a blog on wrestling shows, or you want to do whatever, basically just send me an email. It's Jerry with a G, so Gerry at Kocosports.net. So it's Jerry at Kocosports.net. Send me an email. I will try and get back to you probably within 24 to 48 hours, and we'll set something up. Yeah, we can figure something out. We do need people who want to write not just professional wrestling, but mixed martial arts, boxing. If you have views on any kind of combat sport, and you can write, just send me an email, and I'll get back to you and we'll set something up with you.
All right, so there you go. Maybe we hooked you up on a job. Is it weird? It's like, come, Dave Coco, come to Coco Sports. Can I have a job? And I'm just like, you gotta talk to Jerry. I don't have the pull like I used to. I don't have the Coco Sports street cred.
Okay, here's what happened. We started covering fitness. We started covering the Mr. Olympia contest and the IFBB and fitness industry and bodybuilding and all that sort of stuff. And then our standards changed because Dave just didn't have the abs that we require in a writer. And all of our writers need to be like and we can talk about this too because I wanted to do another podcast, not about pro wrestling but about combat sports. For people that know, Coco Sports is the toughest website that you'll ever work for because I'm the editor and even I have to be on TRT just to write for the website. And that's a shoot. I have an article up there about TRT. But you know, it's one of those things we cover so much more stuff now than we used to. We started out really, really small, and we've been adding and adding and adding, and we've grown so big that we've almost grown, pretty big too fast, and so we are sort of playing catch up in some of the smaller areas. There's stuff that we'd love to cover better, like amateur wrestling. We'd love to do more indie coverage. We'd love to do more Japanese wrestling.
All right, so basically, say go to cocosports.net. Anyway,
yeah, and check out everything that we have there. Check out all the sections because if there's anything that you have an interest in, be it beyond pro wrestling, be it the fitness, be it the bodybuilding, be it the other sports that we cover, we're looking and accepting writers for all sections. So just get in contact with us.
All right, and Hook It Shoot. Hook It Shoot. Hook It Shoot's a Hall of Famer. Hook It Shoot, give yourself a Barrett Horowitz. Meanwhile, I love how I put people over, and meanwhile, I haven't read the comment. They're like, I fucking hate you and hope you die. Like, thank you. I'm glad I put you over like $1 million. Yay, live comment. Woohoo! To be perfectly honest, I've never watched these three enough to form an opinion on them. But your recommendation, Mr. Kokotis, I'll certainly give them a better look. Like I said, if you're expecting 5-star matches, you're probably going to be disappointed. He's no Okada, he's no Tanahashi, but I think he's, if you love Bo Dallas, you'll love EC3. And EC3 is a better wrestler than Bo Dallas, in my opinion. Oh, God, did we just open the fucking floodgate of comments there? I love EC3. It's on a pure entertainment value, I guess is how to say. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call him Wrestler of the Year, but I would definitely be honest with you. If I was running a TNA, he would definitely be the champ or the #1 contender going against the face champion. And him and Spud have to get back together. They just have to get back together. I love how people are like, I always make fun of Boom Boom because he watches Total Divas, and I always make fun of Rob because he watches Total Divas. Meanwhile, I'm like, Spud and EC3 have to get back together. All right.
I guess this would be the wrong place, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Total Divas. I don't watch Total Divas other than a clip, some of the clips I've seen on YouTube. And I think, Dave, you mentioned this clip to me the other day, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. John Cena found some medication from Nikki Bella. She was doing something, trying to get pregnant, and she had a syringe and some vials of stuff in the house, some drugs that she had to take. And I think the clip was John Cena comes bursting into the room holding the syringe, screaming at her, "What is this? I don't have syringes or drugs in my house." He's like, I've never had that stuff in my house, which I don't know. To me, John Cena pretending that he's never seen a syringe before was the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, God. He's natural. El Natural. Former indie wrestler Ken Banks has a magazine where he writes. He used to help with Coco Sports, but he has his own magazine where he writes just about natural bodybuilding, not using drugs. I'm like, yeah, maybe he should write for that magazine. Can you imagine it being a natural bodybuilding magazine and people just losing their shit?
Well, right. Look at his dad. He's just got good genetics, just like his dad.
Dude, that was the word. I remember him saying, all right, let's focus. Let's talk about the negative. Some things in life are overhyped. TNA is the king of overhyping stuff. TNA fans, we have a rocky relationship, but you overhype shit. Everyone overhyped this match. And it delivered beyond the hype. I went into this being like, it ain't that fucking good. Don't you tell me what to like, Impact Wrestling. Don't you tell me what to like, TNA Wrestling fans. Don't you dare! I'll tell you if it's good. Holy fucking shitballs. This was amazing. And it went on forever. You're like, oh, it's pretty good, but it's going to end soon. Ooh, it's really great. It's going to end soon. Holy shit, never end this match. It's amazing. A lot of great spots, a lot of great pro wrestling. Me personally, I've said this before, my favorite gimmick match is the ladder match. I know this was a TLC, but really, is there a difference between TLC and ladder matches these days? It's not like if during a ladder match someone's going to pull out a table and they're like, no, that's against the rules. So TLC matches / ladder matches, almost the same thing in my opinion. They're my favorite, and I'm happy the Wolves won. I wish Bound for Glory, the healthy Wolf, would at least show up and have a fucking match. Not all that, but both Wolves are very famous in Japan because of Noah, and you don't even have them on the card. Makes me very angry. But let's just talk about it, dude. I enjoyed this, and not all that, but I came in being a cynical asshole. I was sick. I was tired. I was beat up. I was just like, oh, fuck. And then everyone's overhyping it.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say
I
this.
enjoyed
I loved the match. I loved it from start to finish, and I think that, again, having matches like this on free television, is one of the things that, if they could get the viewership, it's one of the things that is going to distinguish the current, TNA product as not being WWE. Okay, so that's a really, really good thing. The match was entertaining, and it wasn't geared towards kids. It was geared towards wrestling fans that come from our era. One of the things that I really, really liked, and I have to give, because I insulted Mike Tenay a little earlier. I said he couldn't pronounce Japanese wrestlers' names, but he did something really, really good at the start of this match, and I have to give him kudos for it. One thing I don't like about ladder matches is it always takes everyone. You when you're in there, you got to sell that you're hurt coming up the ladder, and it's going to take you 3 years to climb this ladder. And when you're sitting beside a pro wrestling fan, we understand why they're taking long. They're setting up the spot, but when we forgive that, we just we turn a blind eye to it. But other people don't. And one of the things that he did, and he mentioned it a few times throughout the match, was he mentioned that Davey Richards had suffered a break in his leg, and he was questioning whether or not he was going to be 100% for the match. Then he mentioned that Devon was competing with a tear in his groin. So they set up those injuries beforehand. So
but also there was a long series of matches, so that works with the story.
Yeah, and they set that up and said, these guys are coming in and they've got these injuries already. So it made it a little bit more believable that it was going to take them longer to climb up the ladder and do that. So that was one of the things that I really liked about the start of this and throughout the match was the commentary. I thought that Tenay did a good job at selling spots that you would have otherwise maybe questioned, that you kind of sold them as being real.
Yeah, today really brought his A game. And Taz, I love Taz 10% of the time, but today, it was a good 30% of the time I like Taz.
Here's one thing. I got a little bit geeky during this match, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. I'm like, it's a Full Metal Mayhem match. But in my mind, WWE guy, I'm looking at it going, oh, okay, it's a TLC match. And then they bring out the guardrail from underneath the ring, and I'm like, disqualify him! That's not a table, a ladder, or a chair!
Well, it is metal, so I think they get a pass. We could describe people falling off ladders and the great spots, but it's one of those things, I think, this is the first time I've said this in a really long time. I think it's a must-watch match. Like, even if you don't enjoy TNA wrestling, even if you don't, catch Impact every week, I think this is one of those you can't miss matches. And I'm going to watch it again because we're on the high of, oh my god, it just went on the air. A possible match of the year. Definitely for TNA, maybe. I always, before I say match of the year candidate, I always watch it a second time because sometimes you get so hyped up it wasn't as good as you remember, you know what I mean? But my first reaction, I guess knee-jerk reaction is, this was a great match, and they hyped it up, and it delivered past the hype. So,
well, I'd agree with you on the match of the year, but so long as you preface it with the TNA match of the year, it's got potential as a TNA match of the year. Because I mean, looking at that, I still think that as good as it was, it still pales in comparison to the FWE ladder match with the Young Bucks this past weekend.
Yeah, if you get a chance, please check out that FWE match. And the same thing with New Japan and Dragon Gate, and all that, but different styles. So yeah, let's just stay in company, because some people are like, I don't like Dragon Gate, and I'm like, you are wrong. Like, you just yell at them. Like, you're like, oh, I know you're a big Dragon Gate fan, but I don't like Dragon Gate. You just put your finger right in their face and like, you are wrong. But yeah, we'll say TNA, probably TNA match of the year. But I'll watch it again, and we'll have our awards later. But definitely.
And I should say this.
Definitely a must-watch match. Definitely a must-watch match.
I said I wasn't a big fan of Jeff Hardy, and I'm not. But in this match, he did what he does best. He fell off the top of a ladder through a couple of tables on the outside. And you know what? If that's what Jeff Hardy is there for, if he's just there for those stunts, then he did his job tonight.
Yeah, so there you go. So, and your winner is the Wolves, which I was real happy about because it puts the Wolves at a whole nother level. And you know what? It's just everything that's right with wrestling. Two legendary teams helping a young team get over. It just adds so much credibility. I mean, the Wolves, obviously, if you're a Noah fan, Ring of Honor fan, Indie fan, you know what the Wolves can do. But not everyone goes that deep. A lot of people just go WWE and TNA. But I think for the fans that don't go that deep, this really has to fucking bring up the Wolves in a lot of people's eyes. And to me, I just enjoyed it, and it was a must-watch match. And I'd like to see where they go from there. I kind of wish this was at the WrestleMania Bound for Glory. But anyway, so please, in the comments, put win, loss, sport, tie. Yeah, this was a huge win in my opinion, and definitely a must-watch match. And in the main event, I enjoyed it that much. All right, bam. Let's go to some live comments, and if not, we'll just move along. Well, what did you think overall before I go shopping for comments?
Overall, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it a lot more than I haven't been enjoying pro wrestling for the past few months. This, like with the exception of Raw on Monday, everything since the weekend I've actually been enjoying. I enjoyed FWE. I enjoyed TNA. Even main event wasn't bad. So I mean, as I say, I haven't enjoyed wrestling in quite a while, but I enjoyed this show tonight. I mean, is there things that would change? A few, but overall, I can forgive what wasn't great because the rest of it was. The rest of it was awesome.
Yeah, and we got a real old school guy. Dude, we're so old school. This is the social network he used to send me this message. You ready?
Oh, no.
Email. He sent me an email. And
I thought he was going to send you a MySpace.
Oh, I haven't been on my MySpace forever. I still have it. I wonder if I should go there. Someone suggested when we were having it attacked by YouTube and false flaggers, someone suggested we doing the show on MySpace. And I was like, what? Dude, I was such a huge MySpace fan. I hated the fact that I had to jump over to Facebook. I hated it. Like, I don't know, like Facebook, I was always anti-Facebook. I use it all the time because, that's what people are. But I was like pro MySpace. And I was like, all right, if you're all going to use Facebook, I'll come along. And then I was like, Google Plus, baby, we're ready to jump again. Who's with me? Who's coming with me? I'm taking your goldfish and going to Google Plus.
Just so you know, my MySpace, the one that you forced me to get, I did
force you to get a MySpace. And the funny thing is, this is how old we are. I was like, this social media stuff's going to be big in the future. You need to get a MySpace account. Jerry's like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, and my MySpace, which I never changed, I think I only logged in once when I created it.
Well, I think they eliminated a lot of the profiles.
Well, it says
homework assignment. Everyone go check and see if your MySpace is still alive.
Well, my description.
If you were alive during MySpace's prime, we have a young audience.
My description says I was forced to get a MySpace by Dave Kocosports, and that's the only thing on my MySpace.
All right, so we went old school with email. Email, gotta check the email. All right, strong bad style. Plus 1,000,000 points if you know what the fuck I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please look up Homestar Runner now. House Show Wrestling. Remember that? Remember that guy? He said, Jerry, it's about fucking time, you fat, lazy fucking Irishman. Well, at least he has kind words for you. You need to do more podcasts because you and Dave are fucking great and you suck for not doing stuff. I thought that was going to go somewhere. I thought that was going to go somewhere. Like, I'm reading the email and be like, wow, that's going to be cool. I wonder what he's going to say. We haven't talked to House Show Wrestling in forever.
But because I can't see the email, this is where I start to wonder what's real and what's not, because Dave's like, and he also goes on to say, you need to send Dave money and then come to his house and clean his windows.
Dude, I'll read anything. Like, sometimes the only thing I don't read is the N-word because, come on. Yeah, man. But usually I'll read anything. Like, someone will be like, you guys are not cool.
You won't say NXT?
What's that? Yeah. Nice. All right. What the hell? Oh, okay. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And I am Mikey. You want this to be the last comment? Oh, no. Wait, we also have one more comment from Facebook.
No, I'm good. You can go as long as you need.
All right. Well, we don't have that many comments. You're not as popular as Boom Boom.
I'm never coming back again.
But they're good. But Boom Boom's never got an email from House Show Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
When would you book EC3 to become champ? Well, I'd wait till Bobby Lashley turns heel or Bobby Roode beats Bobby Lashley. No spoilers. But when one of them becomes a good guy and is champ, I would have then him become the number one contender. You know what I'm saying? And then I would do what Raven did. A lot of people that don't know about TNA history, TNA lost their pay-per-view and waiting. They had to wait for a long time before their television deal kicked in. And they had online pay-per-views. And Raven was their champion. If there's any, I would make EC3 the champion beating a face right before the switch. And if you have to go online because there's a delay in the switch, I would have him as the champion. I would have him as the champion where he premieres as the champion on the new channel. He's like, oh, look how rich I am. You know what I'm saying? And out of that, you have a great heel champion.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Bobby Lashley's not a great heel champion, but the problem is, no matter what Bobby Lashley does, we love him. Like, Bobby Lashley can come in and, like, beat up your wife and kick your cat, and you're like, that Bobby Lashley, he's a hell of a guy. Where EC3, I think people can, like, legit hate him or love hating him. Where Bobby Lashley's like, I'm a bad guy, honestly. I'm like, no, you're not, Bobby. He's like, I'm stealing your wallet and stabbing you. Oh, Bobby, you can never do any wrong. Like, Bobby Lashley feels like he's your son that you spoil, but he's just a bad egg. Like, no matter what he does, you're like, oh, Bobby, we love you, baby.
No, I have to ask you a question. I got to put you on the spot here. I'm going to say earlier, I didn't notice. You had to point out to me what Bobby Lashley's skin color was because I didn't know. Now, I'm wondering why would you assume Bobby Lashley would be stabbing you and taking your wallet?
Oh, here we go.
Why would you assume something like that, Dave? That's terrible.
Let me get my apology ready. I'm sorry. We just lost 97 fucking viewers and 56 subscribers. The best part is, though, dude, on YouTube, people, like, if you're really offended, I apologize that you're offended. But the reality is, dude, you'll get people, like, one time I was like, oh, I don't like this about TNA. It's like, if you don't say anything bad about if you say anything bad about TNA, I'm going to unsubscribe. Like, okay, you can unsubscribe. And, we get this often, but this one guy, he emailed me saying he subscribed to all my competitors. I'm like, I'm a fat guy talking on YouTube. There's no way you subscribe to all my competitors. And then, like, he checks in every now and then and be like, this other show is so much better than yours. And I'm like, dude, for real? Is this real life? This is what you do? All right, Andy Pep says, I had a MySpace, LOL. Then in 2009, I made the jump to Facebook, and then in 2010, I deleted my MySpace. Yeah, I never deleted mine. I was always hoping it'd make a comeback. Yeah, where are we on that one, Justin Timberlake? All right, and we'll go for some live comments and wrap this bad boy up. I am Mikey. Last comment of the day, because I got to pee, and then me and Jerry have to talk business. All right. I am Mikey. Says, FWE, Combat Zone Wrestling, Dragon Gate, and Evolve have put on great set of recent available shows. Is this the same comment? Highly suggest you check it out. TNA, yeah, this is the same comment.
The same comment.
Did you Did you send the same comment twice? I am Mikey. Did you just have your prepared statement and go to all the review shows? I feel so dirty. It's like being with a stripper and you think, wow, I'm special. She knows my name. And then she goes back later and mispronounces your name. Did you just... I thought we had something special, I am Mikey. I thought we had something special. Right. Please check out Kocosports.com or Kocosports.net. It's where the world comes to kick ass. Yeah, that's definitely a weird comment to leave on. Please check out Kocosports.com and Kocosports.net. Jerry, David, Cooey, and the gang are busting their ass to make it your #1 stop for combat sports. It's your home for combat sports, where the world comes to kick ass, and where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Jerry, thank you for being on Impact Wrestling. I was sick. I thought it was going to be like a 5-10 minute show, but once we started talking old school stuff, we really appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you are offended by anything, please contact Jerry at Kocosports.net.
And I just want to say before you're over, I just have to say this: being offended about anything is bullshit. Nobody has the right to ever be offended, because here's the thing: nobody has ever died from being offended. Okay? I mean, it's not like you suddenly you watch something or you listen to something and they say something that you don't like. So, like, say for example, they say all Irish people are drunks, because I mean, it's not like I get that all the time. But you know what? I've heard that. I've watched shows about it. I've seen people make fun of it. And here's the funny thing: I didn't wake up the next morning and go, "Oh, I was offended last night, and now I woke up and have cancer." It doesn't work like that. Being offended hurts no one.
Trust me, everyone gets offended these days. It's absolutely crazy. I never knew it until I went on YouTube. Like, and my whole thing is, like, if you, like, they're all offended over weird stuff. Like, I was upset with TNA, and someone asked me a question after a good show, and I answered the question thinking, well, even though TNA had a good show, this problem is still here. And he's like, how dare you talk about TNA badly? Like, what? I don't know. People are weird, bro. People are weird.
We pointed out, and I just want to throw this in before we leave. I pointed out that...
we got one last question. David Draper asked us a question, so we're going to answer it.
Oh, okay. Well, I pointed out that there's actually a story right now up on Kocosports. It was written by Luther Payne, who's one of the contributors. And he normally does a lot of the health and fitness stuff, and I guess this fell sort of under his purview because it was women's health. And it was about WWE and the whole partnership with Susan G. Komen for the Cure Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And what he pointed out was, where exactly does all the money, how much money do they actually make from this? And he actually broke it down, and he has a really, really well-written, well-researched article that breaks down how much they actually spend on research for breast cancer. The company is valued or pulls in somewhere in the region of 400 million. So that's a lot of money for a charity to pull in. So you'd expect from 400 million that they're helping a lot of people. But when he broke it down, it showed that only 20 million of that actually goes to research, and the rest of
That's fucking horrible.
Yeah, the rest of it goes to running the organization, and then a lot of it goes to what they call education and making people aware that breast cancer exists. Well, I'm pretty sure that everyone's aware of what breast cancer is in this day and age, so I don't know how they need to keep educating people to the volume of money that they do every year. But he pointed this out, and he pointed out some inconsistencies, especially when you look at the head of the Susan G. Komen Corporation is actually paying themselves more than any other charity in the world as their own personal take-home pay from this. So he pointed all that out in the article. He wrote that, and again, if you want to go, it's on Kocosports.net right now. Extremely well researched. He cited all of his sources. And that was on our site earlier today and was sent out via social media. And we actually had people complain and go, "Oh, I will never come back. I can't believe you said that about a breast cancer charity." And it's like, well, it's not what he said. He didn't actually say anything negative. He just said maybe the money could be better spent if you donated directly to the research organizations or the
People that are
product
offended
companies.
just want to feel. They just want to feel good. Like even if you have facts, they're just like la 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 la. I
Yeah,
want to feel good.
and the facts that he posted, this was the most fun part was it's not like he just wrote down facts and said, "Oh, believe me, they're true." He actually linked to the Susan G. Komen website, to the PDF that shows exactly they show their statements. So he showed their own statements and their own numbers. But somehow people were still offended and said WWE would never be partners with someone who would do something like that. And it's like, well, yeah, they would, because here's the facts, right? Here's the numbers, and people got offended.
So, all right, let's go. Let's go to some live comments. But yeah, you guys need to toughen up. Listen, dude. Our parents' generation ruined the world. When history shows, when history is written, the baby boomers' generation ruined the world. Literally, they ruined the world. Our generation was lazy. Your generation is completely fucked, and you have to be tougher than any generation.
And you can thank us and our parents.
Yeah. Thank us because we were lazy. We were playing fucking Nintendo. We're like, what, Daddy? You're fucking destroying the world? Well, I got fucking Super Mario. So we were lazy. Our parents were absolutely horrible. And this is worldwide. This is worldwide. The parents, the grandparents of today is the worst fucking generation ever. Ever. Our generation was the laziest. And you have to fucking save us because we're lazy. They fucking are evil. What? Evil, lazy, you. And you have to actually save the world. No pressure. And what you do about it is, I'm offended. Blah, 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 blah. That's not going to do it. Hopefully your kids will do something.
I just want to say, this TNA Impact Wrestling review got real heavy.
It's getting heavy. Oh, calm down, Marty McFly. I am Mikey saying that YouTube, why do you double post? Shake my head. He's blaming YouTube. I am Mikey. We're going to look the other way. We question it, but we are going to look the other way because you blamed YouTube. And you know what? I'm one of those guys that will blame YouTube for anything. Like, what? I pissed my pants by doing a podcast? Goddamn YouTube. All right. But I am Mikey says, what would your fantasy Bound for Glory matchup be? And so my bad on the double post. YouTube tends to botch. All right. You know what? Just the card you promised us. I would have Bobby. I'd be honest with you. I would have the Bobby Lashley, Bobby Roode match main event. The match that just happened. I would pay to see that, and I would have one of the Wolves take on Samoa Joe. Besides that, I'm good. I'd have because then you still have a tag team. So that's what I would do, and then I would have Havoc go against Gail Kim. So I would have everything they're doing on free television. I would just squish into a pay-per-view. They have a fantasy card. They're just giving it away for free and then giving you a fucking Japan house show, calling it WrestleMania, and charging you $60 fucking dollars. David Draper says hated to build up for Bound for Glory. You guys agree? I have tickets. I live in Tokyo and I have tickets for Bound for Glory. I totally agree. They lied to the Japanese public. They lied. I am very upset for Bound for Glory. And this is a guy who you'll probably see on camera. I'm the fat white guy who has bad teeth, who looks like he's falling asleep. That will be me. In some countries you have to hold up a sign and you have to hold up something to show it's you. I'm the fat white guy with bad teeth looking like he's going to fall asleep. But yeah, I absolutely hate the build-up for Bound for Glory. It's literally just a house show. They're going to charge Americans $60, and they gave everything away for free on television. That's awesome, but then don't have the pay-per-view. Don't call it your WrestleMania, or at least have your fucking champion show up. Or here's an idea: at least have people that you advertised show up. I absolutely hate the build-up for Bound for Glory, but I might have to do that on a separate video. All right. Thank you all for the live comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Go to Kocosports.com. Jerry, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, Dave, I want you at Bound for Glory to stand the entire time and just chant Kocosports, 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 Kocosports. I want to see if anybody else, especially if they're Japanese and they have accents, I just want to hear like hundreds of thousands of Japanese people chanting Kocosports. Make it happen. I know you're big.
You ask for too much. You asked for first you want me a cell phone, and now you want me to start a Japanese cult. All right, so please, anyone could join our cult. Just go to Kocosports.com. Leave some comments. Jerry and David Cooey work so hard. Leave some comments. Say, hey, fuck nerds, or you know, you could
just say, hey, don't say anything bad about breast cancer.
Yeah, or anything. All right, so please go to Kocosports.com or Kocosports.net. It's where the world comes to get cash, your home for combat sports, and above all, where you can be a passionate fan. And with that, I am over.